Yo, what's going on, guys? It's DFS Hart, and today I'm breaking down the 4-game NBA slate. Before we get into that, I just want to say welcome to my channel. My name is Hart, and I make daily NBA, NFL, and PGA slate breakdowns on Draftkings, where I'll go over the best plays of the day and give you some building blocks for you to use in your lineup, or just help you with roster construction. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, as I'll be making daily NBA slate breakdowns. So tune in for those. And before I get into that, I'd just like to say, head over to Twitter, follow me at DFS Hart. I'll be answering any questions you guys may have, regarding injury news and new plays. As we know with NBA, if you're new to it, there's always injury news. It happens right up until lock, so you always got to be constantly watching. A great account to follow is Fantasy Labs NBA. They tweet out all the injury news as fast as possible. So you're going to want to follow them and me as well, to give updates on, picks on whether, certain players are in or out. And now let's get into it. We have a 4-game slate, as I mentioned. Brooklyn versus the Rockets. Not Brooklyn. Portland versus the Blazers versus Rockets. Sorry. Long morning. 5-point spread, 229 over-under. Clippers Heat, 4-point spread, 214 over-under. Lakers Pistons 9.5 spread, 214 over under, and Warriors Suns 2.5 spread, 220 over under. On the Portland side, we got Dame at the top, 10-6. CJ's still out. He's gonna be out for a little bit longer. I mean, Dame's just it's been Dame time. 71, 57, 50, 60, 50. So I mean, he has all the usage. He has the ability to get 70 fantasy points, closer to even 80 if he's shooting the ball really well, scoring a ton. So he's firmly in play at 10-6. I think he's the highest spin up on the slate of the day, but I'm more than fine if you going to him in this matchup versus Houston. Should play a pretty high scoring game. Two teams that don't like to play defense. So Dame's a good play. Enes Kanter, 7-1. It's expensive, but I mean, he's getting the run. As you see, he's gotten close to 30 minutes, once. I guess twice since he started. So, I mean, that's a little concerning he's 7-1. But obviously, as you see, his huge upside when he's, scoring and getting rebounds. That's a little bit of an outlier game, 5 blocks. So, I'd say he's more in the 25 to 40 range fantasy point-wise at 7-1. Which, in this matchup should be good, but I guess he's more of an okay play. He might run into some foul trouble trying to guard DeMarcus Cousins, so I'd say he's a little bit riskier. Anthony, he started the last game, played pretty good. He's only 5'6", scored 37 fantasy points, 22 real-life points, played 35 minutes, which you like to see. So, I mean, at 5'6" in this matchup, he's in another good spot. You can definitely look to him. Covington's out, so, guys like Trenton Jr., Jones Jr., and Rodney Hood are all viable. Obviously, we have to keep an eye out for Jones Jr. and Hood because they're both questionable. If they're both out, then you're going to want to look to Gary Trent, 5K, going to play a ton of minutes. He is more scoring dependent. We saw last game he's 41 minutes played. That's huge. You love to see that. 22 points. But if he's not hitting a shot, he doesn't really get peripherals, so it's a little bit more risky than, paying up for Melo. And then you could take, shots on guys like Fernie Simons, I should say. Past 2 games he's played really well, but he shot the ball, exceptional, which is not something he usually does, as you can see from earlier in the season. But, I mean, he's going to have to play huge minutes with everyone out, especially if Jones Jr. and Hood are out. So you can definitely take a shot on Simons. And then you can look to a guy like Giles. He's going to get the backup center run. He's going to get some power forward run. He didn't play a lot last game, only 16 minutes, 42 fantasy points. But I do think he is in play with the risk of Enes Kanter getting in foul trouble trying to guard DeMarcus Cousins. So 3.5 is a great price for Giles. So, I mean, on this side, you really got to, keep the eye out for Jones Jr. and Hood. If they're in, I'd rather pay for Rodney Hood. He just has the scoring upside. I know he had one good game, then he played terrible. Only shot the ball 6 times. But He'll probably get you close to 30 minutes if he plays. His ability to, get you there with points. So he'd be a lot better option than Derrick Jones Jr. So on this side, I'd say Dame is friendly and play at the top. Cantor's going to be a little risky at 7-1 just because of, foul trouble. Anthony looks like a solid play. Same with Trent. And then you could take a shot on Jones Jr., Hood, and Simons Giles. So that's, who I'd be looking to for Houston. Or for Portland. On the Houston side, we have, Christian Wood at the top, 8-7. Firmly in play. He's going to play about 35 to 40 minutes if the game is close. As you see, he's had some monster games, double basically every game he's played. So 8-7 is a great price tag for him. He's going to be, pretty reasonably owned, probably at least 50% maybe. So I'm fine with you going there. I probably will. He just has that massive upside. 8-1 for Victor Oladipo. I mean, it's a decent price tag. He has a lot of usage. He played 37 minutes last game. Even though he wasn't shooting the ball great. I mean, he does have that 40-50 fantasy point upside, but I don't know if you have to do it. Especially with John Wall. Back. He only played 24 minutes last game, but he got you 35 fantasy points. I mean, let's see if they have any news. I don't know if they have any news on his minutes yet, so that's something you have to be, careful, keep an eye out for. But if he plays, 25 minutes, I don't know if I'd go there at 7-3. You'd much rather take the shot on Oladipo. But if the minutes limit are off on John Wall, then I'd say, he's probably one of the best plays of the day at 7-3 versus Portland. And you'd much rather go to, Wall over Oladipo if, minutes are not a restriction. DeMarcus Cousins, 7-2. Don't blame him. I know when I was saying Cantor, I was saying he's going to have to guard Cousins. I forgot Wood is back, so Cantor's going to have to guard Wood. That's a little bit better for Cantor, even though, Wood's a good player offensively. He's not as, physical as Cousins would have been, which would have drawn more fouls than Cantor. But, yeah, 7-2, don't pay this price. As we saw when, Wood was playing, he was playing only, 15 to 20 at most. So don't play DeMarcus. Eric Gordon, 6'6" is a lot for a scoring-dependent guard, but as we see, he'll play about 30 minutes, closer to 35, if he's shooting the ball really well. But I don't know if you have to do it. And then I guess you could take a shot on guys like David Nwaba. With, John Wall not getting his full amount of minutes, they're beginning of it to Nwaba. I mean, he's gotten you there the past 4 games, so. But, I mean, his price tag's come up to 5-1, so I don't know if you have to do that. I know on this side, I'd much rather go to Wall, if no minutes restriction, and then Wood. But if Wall is limited still, I'd go Wood. You can take a shot on Oladipo, even though price is high. And then I'd say that's about it. And you can take a shot on Gordon if you want, but it's mostly just Wood and Wall on the Houston side. Moving on to Lakers versus Detroit. We got LeBron at the top, 10-4. This game, it might be a blowout. Could be. We'll have to see, wait and see. But LeBron, price tag is up, but he's going to give you, 40 to 70 fantasy point upside if he's playing well and shooting the ball well. So, I mean, I don't know if you have to go there, especially with the minutes being in question due to the blowout. But you can if you want. I mean, Anthony Davis is in a great spot, 8-9. It's just one of those things. Do you think this game stays close? And if you do, play Anthony Davis. He's playing the minutes if it's a close game. So he's going to have the opportunity to, 50-plus fantasy points. And at 8-9, that's a great price for him. No one in Detroit is going to be able to guard him. Jeremy Grant's not going to be able to handle him. So if you think this game stays close, definitely target Anthony Davis. Montrezl Harrell, 5'8". I wouldn't go there. You can take a shot on a guy like, Schroeder. He hasn't been playing well recently. Had a little bit better of a game, versus the Philly, but he's just the third option. And, with LeBron and AD playing a lot more and a lot better recently, it's just kind of, taking the usage away from Schroeder. So I don't have to, if you have to go there. And then I guess you could take a shot on guys like Caldwell Pope and Caruso. You just got to hope they hit their shots. Otherwise, they're not going to get you there. And that's about it. So I just really like Anthony Davis on this side. And then you can always, take the safe route with LeBron. But you just got to hope this game stays close. On the other side, you got Grant at 8-4. I mean, he's firmly in play. I mean, the price tag is up a little bit. He didn't have the best game last game, even though he shot the ball well, scored a lot, but he didn't get the peripherals like he usually does. I mean, he's in an okay spot. You're going to want to play him if you think this game stays close and if you play AD, but I don't know. I don't think you have to go to anyone on this team. DeLon Wright, 6'7", don't pay that for him. Blake Griffin, 5'9", I wouldn't do that. D Rose, 5'4", he's more of a, dart throw. He'll get about 20 minutes. He'll get extended if he's shooting the ball well. But, I mean, some of those games, he just doesn't get you there, He has the 48 fantasy point upside. He's playing really well, but I don't think you have to do it. Wayne Ellington, scoring dependent. And I guess the last guy you can take a shot on is, Josh Jackson, 4'8". Or Miles Plumlee at 4'8". Going to play about, 20, 25 minutes maybe. He can get you there. He can score the ball a little bit. I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable about this game. I think it's going to blow out. So it's going to be hard to play anyone on these sides. I'd much rather, target the first game or target the other two. Moving on, we got the Clippers versus Miami. As we saw, 7K for Reggie Jackson. He wasn't popular last slate because he was 6'8". No one wanted to pay for him. But as we saw, he has huge upside. 46 fantasy points, 20 points, real life points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, shot the ball 16 times, played about almost 40 minutes, which is huge. So if he's going to play these big minutes, he's going to be firmly in play once again. 7K is a lot, and he's not very reliable. But, 40 minutes is more than enough to get you there because, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George are still out. Serge at 6'8". I don't know if you have to go there. He splits time with Zubac. He got a little bit more run than usual with 29. He was also playing well, but I just think his ceiling is limited. And 6'8", you'd much rather go to different players and spots than a 6'8" Serge Ibaka. Luke Kennard, he played okay last game, only 28 minutes, which you don't like to see. So I don't think you have to go there for 6'5". That's just a lot for a guy who's not even getting into 30 minutes with, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard out. I will say he is a good scorer and he can get you rebounds and assists, so he'll be a low-owned GPP play if you want to play him, but I don't think you have to go there. Same with Batum. Low-usage guy. I don't think you have to do it for 6'3". I know Lou Williams let a lot of people down last slate. He just wasn't able to shoot the ball. He just didn't get the minutes, so I think he'll be more of a dart thrower this slate. Not a lot of people are going to want to go back there after that bad game, but at 5'8", it's a decent price tag. You just need him to get the minutes, because if he gets the minutes and he's hitting a shot, he's gonna, he's got 40, 50 fantasy point upside. But as we saw last game, they didn't want to play him for some reason. And then you got Mann at 5'4". I think he's firmly in play. They love to play him a ton with those guys out. 34 minutes. He's not the best shooter, but he's got the ability to score points, rebound, assists, and he's good at getting steals. An extended run as we see this season. It's only a small sample size, but he is a good defender. And 5'4" is a decent price tag for him when he's going to play around 35 minutes. And then you can take a shot on guys like Zubac and Morris, but Zubac is only getting about 20 minutes a game, 5'3". I don't know if you have to do it. And then Morris, everyone took a shot on him, thought he was going to play a ton last game, but he was only limited to about 25 minutes. And it's kind of been how the season goes. And you think with, Kawhi and Paul George out, it would be a lot more, but it wasn't. You can take a shot on him, hope he does well this game, but I really wouldn't. On the side, I really only look to, Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, and then Mann. Everyone else is more of like a dart throw. If you can play them if you want, but it's going to be risky. They're just kind of, the production on that side is kind of spread out. You never know who it's going to come from, especially with those starters out now. So I'd much rather target guys on the Miami side. Jimmy Butler is questionable now with Hero and Dragic. So if Jimmy's back, I'd assume he plays full minutes and 7.5. That's a great price. I'd much rather play Jimmy over Bam at his price if he's going to start. So we'll have to see and keeping an eye out for this news. But he's firmly in play at 7.5 if he's going to start and plays full minutes. That'd make a guy like, Hero and Dragic, their value go down a little bit. Dragic would definitely be a better play than Tyler Hero if Butler's in. And then that would take away some usage from, guys like Kendrick Nunn. And Duncan Robinson, 5.5, dart throw. Kelly Olynyk, dart throw. He's been playing about, I think about 20 minutes a game. Yep, 20 minutes a game. If he's shooting the ball well, he has a chance to get 30 fantasy points or more. But if he's not, they're just not going to play him a ton. He's a little foul prone. So this is one of those teams you just got to keep an eye out for the news when it's closer to lock. Bam at 9.2 isn't in a play if Butler, Hero, and Dragic are all out. But I'm assuming Dragic, or he didn't play last game, or the game before, so what to see. But if he's back, 6.2 is a good price tag for him. If he's out, you can look to Nunn still. He plays huge minutes, 35 plus every game. It's just, as I said, it's just one of those things you have to, keep an eye out for injury news because it changes up the whole dynamic of Hero is back and Butler is back. Moving on to the last game, Golden State, Phoenix. We have Steph Curry at the top, 9.7. He played terrible last game, even though they got the win. But, 36 fantasy points. He was 6 to 17. I think he had 2 points going into halftime. So, his price had gone up a little bit, but this is a great spot for him against Phoenix. They're pretty good defensively, but, it's Steph Curry. It's very, pretty hard to stop him, and he usually loves bouncing back after bad shooting games and going off. So, I think he's a great play today at 9.7. Wiggins and, Oubre, you can take a shot on them. The prices are similar now. They have, 25 to 45 fantasy point upside. It's just, they're just very inconsistent. So, they're just much more of like secondary plays. Same with Draymond Green. His price tag has just pretty much stayed the same. His ability, to get you close to a triple-double, but we just haven't seen it once this season. So, I don't know if you have to go there for 5-6. Wiseman had a career day yesterday. After... It makes no sense because Kerr benched him against Minnesota, and then he comes out, plays 24 minutes, 9 of 14, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks, 36 fantasy points. So, you can take a shot on Wiseman and hope he plays, 25 minutes like he was before he got benched. So, that's just something risky, though. And then I want to go to anyone else on the bench. It's more like Steph Curry and then taking a shot on, Wiggins, Oubre, Draymond Green, and Wiseman and just hope they get you there. On the Phoenix side, you have Devin Booker questionable. Obviously, if he is out again, you're going to want to look to Chris Paul, who has a ton of usage. DeAndre Ayton had a bad game last game, so you can definitely go back to him with the price tag up. People are probably going to be off of him. Mikal Bridges firmly played at 6K. Jay Crowder and Cam Johnson are firmly play at their price, so if he's back, you can look to the regulars of Paul, Ayton, basically their whole starting 5. But if he's out again, Chris Paul at 8K. His price tag has come up, but as you saw, he has huge upside. Scoring the ball, assists, rebounds. So he's firmly in play at 8K if Booker's out. Johnny Andre, 8 and 7-8. Bad game last game. He played 35 minutes, but I think going into halftime, he only had 10. He didn't shoot the ball well. Only 5 points, but I think you can definitely run it back with him. And then the wings, Mikal Bridges, 6K. Play about 30 to 40 minutes a game if it's close and if he's doing well. But bad shooting game last game. Kind of a bad game before, but he does have, the 40s and even the 50 fantasy point upside if he's shooting the ball well. So if Booker's out, I think, Mikal Bridges would be the one I'd definitely want to take a shot on out of the wings. Jay Crowder, I think he had a good game last game. but he's just scoring dependent. He can get you the peripherals, but he's very hot and cold when it comes to shooting. He's gotten you there the past 2 games, which you like to see, but that'll just increase his ownership more than Mikel's and Cam Johnson's, and I think he's due for a bad game. As you saw, he's at extremely low floor, even though those games are with Booker, but I don't think you get to go there. The crowd's going to chase him. And then, guys like Cam Johnson, he's a shooter. He's been pretty decent on the peripheral side with the rebounds and assists this year, but he's got to hope he hits his shot. He's kind of just a launch 3 guy. He's not really doing anything else, so he's risky, but you can definitely go there for the lower ownership than Crowder. So I definitely target guys like Chris Paul and Ayton if Booker's out. And then I'd say, Mikal Bridges would be my favorite play. But if Booker's, back, then everyone else kind of just becomes like secondary plays, and I'd, take the shot on Bridges out of everyone. And that pretty much does it today. I'll give you guys, a core of a few players. So if Booker's out, I do like Mikal. And then you're going to play Christian Wood, 8'7". And let's look for one more guy. Let's see. Oh, we gotta put on utility. That would help. And then I'd say you could do Anthony Davis and hope the game stays close. So I kind of like these 3 to build around. Anthony Davis it'll be interesting to see his ownership because he's in a great spot, great price tag, but he could only get 30 minutes in this game and only get you like 40 fantasy points, and that's decent, but this game might be a huge blowout, so we'll have to see. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to follow me at DFS Heart. I'll be answering any questions you may have, and hit that like button, subscribe, and comment, turn on the notifications bell so you get my videos every day. And I'll be back tomorrow with another slate breakdown. So thank you, and see you guys tomorrow.